everybody. Welcome to the Thrive Show, where we are talking all about creating a healthy lifestyle, a thriving business, and a life of intention, even amidst the COVID-19 crisis. I'm Val Nichols, your host, and I have today two special guests who are joining us to have a panel discussion all about how they're thriving, how they're adjusting, and what they're noticing during the crisis. We have today Christina TnT and Melissa Goray, and they are here to share with you guys, to give you a mentor moment, and to just share their wisdom and knowledge. Welcome, ladies.
Hi.
Hi.
So will each of you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and what your intention is here, being here today?
Yeah, I am a real estate agent in Central Oregon covering 4 counties, and I help buyers and sellers reach their legacy through home ownership. And I'm a homesteader.
I'm a licensed massage therapist. I have a brick and mortar private practice that is currently not in operation. And then I also am very outdoorsy, and that's been kind of tough right now.
Thank you so much, ladies. You know, the reason why I wanted to bring these two ladies on here today is because, you know, we're all experiencing this and we're in this together. And I know that there's people from all over the world who are tuning in on this. So we don't know what's happening in your specific area. But, you know, right now in Oregon, we're in this shelter in place. And so as you can hear, you know, we have a real estate agent, we have someone that had a brick and mortar business, and then I'm an online entrepreneur. So we're having 3 different sides of each one of these things. And so I just really want to talk about, you know, how are we shifting? How are you thriving? What are you seeing? So Melissa, with your business, I know that you are a person-to-person contact business.
Yes.
So how is that shifted? What are you experiencing, and how are you shifting your business, or are you at this point?
One thing, so I think it was officially about 2 weeks ago now, places that couldn't have more than a 6-foot distance between people were ordered to close by the state, which massage, it's very hands-on, arm's length at most. And so that included my office. The one exception was, and it's very tricky legal wording by the governor's order, people with a prescription or under supervision of a doctor can receive massage. So I did have one client with a written prescription, and I've asked for that prescription to have, just in case I'm ever questioned about it, because you can get your license challenged if you're practicing right now.
Wow.
So right now, it's just kind of been, that's it. The doors have closed. And one thing, as a massage therapist, my work is very seasonal. We do have these ebbs and flows. So I'm happy that I prepared. I've been very busy nonstop, and I knew a slow time was coming. There was just no possible way that I could predict this would be it and exactly how slow it would be. So it's odd to say I expected it, but I didn't know I would expect this.
Yes, absolutely. And none of us could have prepared. We were all blindsided. Mm-hmm. And I'm curious to know, because we're in an area where there's a lot of athletes. There's a lot of weekend warriors, lots of camping, lots of hiking, lots of running, lots of big athletes here. And I know that that's one of your focuses. So what do you recommend for people who are at home? They're still running. Runners don't stop.
Yeah.
They're still lifting weights. What do you recommend to them in this time?
I've offered, actually, for people, I did have a client who contacted me, and they were mid-marathon training plan, because a lot of marathons are April, May, June. And I offered I could consult them about stretching and recovery, but really that's it. You kind of have to be more on yourself, and me included. I've really had to take a lot more self-care into my own hands, but we do have, I mean, hopefully if they are in that high performing athlete, they will have an ice pack, a foam roller, some of the really basic self-care things. And then, of course, there is the thing, you're no longer mid-marathon training plan when your marathon's not happening anymore. You go into more of a steady state training. So there is that change too that's happening for a lot of them. So just reconsider how to keep that maintenance training. You're no longer expecting to peak and then drop into what we call taper right before your event, but just kind of find where your maintenance is, because we don't know how long this is going to be for, really.
I love that. Yeah. And I know it's really hard for athletes. I used to be a competitive runner as well. And it's hard to like not know, because if you just stop training, then that could really mess up your schedule and all of that. But with all this, that's something I didn't even think about, all these marathons being canceled. Oh my gosh.
And other things, I really don't know a lot of my clients who are bodybuilders who live in the gym.
Yes.
And that's, a lot of us don't have a full squat rack with 300 pounds at our house. So I haven't quite checked in, and a lot of them have scrambled. They've invested in that equipment themselves if they're really serious. So it's really going to be a new world. And I don't know if they're going to, granted, I'm independent of the gym that I work in, but, I don't know if they'll keep their gym memberships if they just invested $1,500 in a full squat rack. So people, they're scrambling and they're adjusting, and the people that are really serious about training and their sport, they're finding a way to stay serious. And it's the revival of the home gym. I kind of love it. So
yes, it's like the old 80s garage workout, right? I mean,
I love watching them. Yes, someone has in their barn, they put the squat racks, so they're training out in the fields, or people are going out and lifting stumps and logs in the trails. So I do love how innovative people are getting with fitness right now.
I just imagine someone out there like doing like lifts with like a Geo Metro or something. Like pumping.
I'm sure someone is doing it.
If someone's
some
doing
goat
it,
wrestling.
Send pictures. What'd you say?
I did some goat wrestling.
Yes. Oh my gosh, the goats. So for those of you who don't know, Christina is a homesteader. So she has some very interesting things, and I'm sure that there's other people out there that are watching that would love to get some tips from you as well, or swap some ideas. But Christina she has goats. You are homeschooling your kid. You are doing all kinds of things. So tell us more about that.
Well, let's start with the goats, because I know everybody wants to talk about the goats. We do have 3 triplet Nubian boars. And one of them we found out before we got them is pregnant. So now we're multiplying already. And so that's really exciting. We have chickens coming in the mail and 2 pigs showing up tomorrow.
My gosh.
Oh yeah, by the way, I forgot to tell you. And so it's been fun. That's kind of why I'm in my flannel today. I was out in the field before this, getting fencing up, and on top of it, trying to deal with my son. He's an only child, so he's pretty lonely and always wanting to hang out and do something, thinking, we're all at home together. So keeping on a routine and maintaining any kind of sanity has been interesting.
Yeah, I love that you said that, because it seems like, for myself and like with my clients and stuff, this is like the biggest thing I'm talking about, is keeping that routine to create some sort of like normalcy in your day. How are you managing that right now? Being a mom, being a wife, being a business owner, being all of these things, being a hobby pharmacist, like how do you manage all this?
I'm really big into time blocking. And so essentially everything goes on my calendar, and being upfront with my family about it too, and saying this is my work time. And sometimes I just have to give it grace. If I look out and realize my son hasn't been doing his work, I encourage him to get back to work. He's 8, he just turned 8, so he's a little distracted right now, and the weather's nice, and so I can only do what I can do. And fortunately, I was a homeschool mom prior to this for many years, and this is actually just recent for him to be in public school and be back home. So we were able to pick up pretty well on it. But I definitely say time blocking and having that communication with your family and setting those expectations and then inspecting what you expect.
That's huge. How about you, Melissa? You're on the opposite side, not working. So how
Not
are
working,
you,
no kids.
how are you creating the normalcy, or are you feeling the unnormalcy?
Not quite. Little things have kind of come up here and there that kind of send you a different direction. And I guess it's something that I was struggling with before this all happened, because having my clients scheduled, that's something I'm held to. I'm not held to by myself. I'm held to by the people that pay me, which is very important. And it's always easy for me to make those meetings, but really scheduling things like time to do paperwork. And right now my license is up for renewal, so I have lots of online classes to do. And that's been really hard for me to make that when, I mean, I don't have anywhere to be. I could sleep until 10. So that's something I still struggle with. And that's, it's something you work towards. It's not something that comes easy for me right now. And I'm honest about that.
Yeah. And thank you for being honest, because I know there's a lot of people out there who are watching this right now who are in that place themselves. Sometimes it changes things for people.
It does. But I'm really trying to work on that, creating a better workspace that I actually want to sit in, and being realistic about what I can do and when. So, yeah.
That's huge. That's huge. I love that. And so what are you guys experiencing as far as like difference in your home life? Like what's going on in your home life? Let's be like, what's going on? Like, how is it? Because I know that, not working at home and then now working at home, how are you noticing? I heard Christina talk about, creating expectations, creating boundaries. How else are you helping this work?
Working at home's kind of been a struggle for me because it's such a distraction. And I, before this happened, was trying to create a space where I can take my computer, whether it's time in my own office. So this is really a good test and seeing how serious I'm taking, I guess, my own advancement. But I've had lots of time to see, this is why work at home could be distracting.
You have kids.
Right? But I've also really enjoyed my home life. I have been baking a lot, which is something that it brings me a lot of joy, but I don't really have time for, and freezing stuff. And I'm home for when my boyfriend comes home, and it's weird being able to help around the house more, and seeing each other at night and actually watching a movie, and we played board games. And those are all things that I've been working so much lately, things we haven't done. So it has been nice to kind of return to that.
I love it. Back to the basics, right?
Yeah.
So how are you, and this is a question for both of you, how are you thriving during this time?
I know that for me, I am still working. If anything, I feel like I'm actually working more than I was before in real estate. Also, very ebbs and flows. And right now, I'm just trying to reach out to my clients and my sphere and even colleagues just to say, hey, how are you? And I think that's even more of a reason for me to get on the phone and reach out than to say, hey, are you ready to buy or sell? Because I genuinely want to know how these people are doing through it and let them know that I'm here as a resource, even just to talk to, because it's getting lonely, and I don't get around to making a ton of calls a day, but I'm really making those connections, and people are picking up the phone right now way more than they usually do. So I'm I'm actually sitting down making those connections a lot more, because living in Prineville, which is a very rural farm area, it was a lot of commuting. I was probably in the car 6 to 10 hours a week to and from meetings and appointments and showings and things like that. So it freed up a lot of time to get other things done in my home and in my business.
Love that.
I have been taking extra personal time, making sure that, and this is kind of where you really try to practice what you preach, being a massage therapist,
Yes.
Upping my workouts to more frequency, the things that I normally don't have time for, walking my dogs, making sure to get in an extra cardio session. And then also the self-care. I have been foam rolling. I'm trying not to go to the chiropractor as much, trying not to leave, really saving those trips for the times when I really need them. So staying on top of foam rolling, stretching, hot, cold baths, and really keeping on that self-care, because it's harder to go. When we think of how much contact we have when we go out, even though I know that the medical professionals who are operating are keeping their places up to the cleanest standards, what if, so really trying to keep better care of myself, kind of physically, mentally, checking in with people. And that's really how I've been thriving. I mean, it's weird when it feels like in a rough spot, but feel really good. Yeah. And of course, I've been keeping more track of kind of what I eat, and eating healthier. We make that one trip to the grocery store. We actually go to a farm to pick up our veggies, and meats. So really it's definitely putting out more of an effort, which I do have the time now. So really trying to take extra physical, better care of myself. And as we know, that can really help your mental well-being too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm hearing a lot of that, just like really back to the basics. And what I'm hearing in you guys both is just like, back to the basics and what really matters for you. I love that. So if you could define this moment or this time right now when we're in the midst of our, whatever's going on in everyone's area of the world, shut down, quarantine, self-quarantine, whatever's going on, if you could define this stage as maybe one lesson that you learned or one takeaway, what would that be, Christina?
Opportunity. This is an opportunity. And then you have to put yourself in that mental state just to keep going. Don't lose the momentum.
Thank you. Melissa?
The biggest takeaway I've had is really that everything's going to be okay. And that's a really hard one to push in our day-to-day life, because you are thinking about moving forward, making money, what if, and there's so much pressure from all these different things I have to do, and all those different things just stopped happening. And we're still doing okay. I know we're in a good position. I don't take that for granted, but so many people are also helping each other who aren't in such as great positions as us. And it's really like there has been a what if the world stopped turning, and it kind of has. And we're really reaching out and being there for each other. So it's kind of that everything's going to be okay.
Yes, everything's going to be okay. I think people need to hear that right now.
Yeah.
So thank you for that. So I know that there are people that are going to want to get in contact with you guys after this. So how can they get a hold of you, Christina?
I am on Facebook, TnT Real Estate, and Instagram, which is Christina TnT, and LinkedIn, YouTube, all those other social media.
Awesome. And also put the links below so you guys can find that as well. And Melissa, how do they get a hold of you?
I'm on Facebook, Instagram, and both of those have links to my booking sites if you have any other questions about my modalities and what I do.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, ladies. This was such a fun time to just chit chat with you, get to know what you're up to in the world. And also, you guys offered such a ray of hope for people out there. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. And I hope everyone does well through this time.
Yes. All right, guys. We will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.